Our Weekend Watch shines a spotlight on government activity. Illinois is home to more units of government than any other state across the country. More than 2,000, yes, more than 2,000 compared to the next runner-up. The watchdog group, the Better Government Association, is looking into smart streamlining to help cut some of the bureaucratic bloat, and there's a lot of it out there. BGA President, CEO, Andy Shaw is here this morning. So, Andy, I just want to start off, because your article talks about this. I just have to read this out loud. Illinois has more than any other state, about 7,000 or 2,000 more units of government than the runners-up Texas and California. So we're talking about 7,000 different governmental agencies in our state.
And Stacey, it's not just governmental agencies. Every one of those is a taxing body. So I call them tax eaters. Now, some we need, but when you have 40% more government than states that are bigger than you know something's wrong. And this was an article I wrote, my bi-weekly column in Cranes. Here's the problem. People don't pay attention to this. It's the kind of thing that makes their eyes glaze over. Terms like debt ceiling, infrastructure, unfunded pension liability, and units of government are the kinds of wonky terms that people don't pay attention to. And that's why it's hard to mobilize the forces to start downsizing, even though we now have the legal authority to do it county by county. It's going to take a very long time and a lot of will on the part of leaders and citizens.
Well, Andy, I think people also think, like, okay, what can I do about that? So there are a lot of different park districts and school districts, and I mean, just name all the different districts that are out there. What can people do about it?
Well,
how do you get that movement going?
Right. Until this past year, we couldn't do anything about it because by law, no county can downsize without the approval of the state legislature. And before this year, they had only given approval to McHenry County, Lake County, and DuPage County on a pilot basis. This past year, a group of good government groups and reform groups like the BGA coalesced into something called Transform Illinois. And we worked with the legislature, and we got a bill passed called SB 3. That enables all 102 counties in Illinois to start shedding or consolidating units of government. The thing is, it's very, very long-term. It takes referendas on every downsizing. And so it's only going to happen if political leaders and citizen groups, with the support of watchdogs like the BGA, begin to look at this and do this. It's going to take a lot of data analysis so we don't do stupid things. We're not calling for every unit of government to be disbanded. In fact, it's not our job to decide which should be disbanded. That should be local voters in the counties looking and saying, wait a minute, we have a school district with one school. Why don't we consolidate 4 school districts into one and save all that administration? You know,
now,
we have more.
Andy, this sounds fabulous, right? I mean, it sounds like, okay, let's go ahead and streamline. But then you have people who have jobs who work in these different government units, and there's going to be a lot of pushback there, I can only imagine, from the different agencies saying, oh, wait a minute, okay, you want to consolidate 4 school districts? Well, it's not going to be ours. It's going to be those other 3 that end up having no administrators.
Well, you've hit the main problem, which is that every unit of government thinks it's important, and not just that, the people working there have political allies in Springfield who have their backs and push back. And that's why getting this bill passed was such a big deal. What I'm saying is let's analyze the units of government one by one, and if it's duplicative or it's unnecessary, let's find a way to get rid of it slowly and sensitively. Let's not throw thousands of people out of work. It may take time. We may have to help people find other jobs where it's necessary, but let's start doing it. You know, we could save $4 billion if we could consolidate school districts and park and library and fire protection districts. $4 billion a year eventually.
That's a lot of money. I guess awareness is the first step with this. Thank you very much for that,
pleasure.
Andy. So you can read more BGA articles at bettergov.org. We're also posting a link on our website, as we always do, abc7chicago.com.